Hi Aquarius, I hope that you're all doing well. We are starting off with King of Pentacles and we also have Ten of Swords. There can be a little bit of a change that you're going through right now, but it feels like it's for the better even if it feels difficult right now. This can be something that you're spending some time doing. It feels like somewhere where you showed up and there was something that you were doing and something happened. Something came to a head here. And even though it's like the aftermath of whatever that was, I'm seeing you spending some time unpacking it right now. Like you can be trying to understand it. Trying to process is what this looks like. The word attempt is coming through. Okay. I am seeing there be a tower here. Some of you can be dealing with an earth sign, or there can be a prominence of earth within your chart. Very interesting. I'm seeing it look like a tower coming your way here. But this feels like... I feel like something kind of destabilizing a little bit. For some reason, I feel like the need to talk like softly, quietly. But I get this rumbling energy that's been moving through. We have a whole tower here. So we have Virgo and we also have Cancer and Mars. And a lot of different energies that are popping up. If you have been kind of in hermit mode, thinking about things, okay. I'm seeing partnership be focused on here. If you have been in hermit mode thinking about things and processing things, there can be somebody that's coming towards you. What this can also mean too is that maybe you were like out in the world doing things and showing up somewhere and you decided that instead of kind of like externalizing things, you needed to take some time and be thinking about some stuff here, which feels actually like... And there's a necessary reason for you to be doing this. Like when we have King of Pentacles, we can be showing up places, we can be doing things. It's kind of like when things are in play and in action and moving around. And this feels like going into a time where you could have been like, well, this thing just happened. It feels big for me in some way. Whoever is the King of Pentacles in this scenario, this person feels like they were like living their life, showing up places they needed to show up, and something big just happened for them. So whether this be you or be the person that's playing this role, whoever this person is, this King of Pentacles, they feel like they're going through a time that can be feeling very charged for them. So this King of Pentacles is like, they can be somebody that feels like they're going through a crisis right now, or it's just like stuff that had been going on is being disfigured in some way, or like what they had been working on is being taken apart in some way. It'll feel like a collapse of some sort. But when it's the tower, it's always going to be a necessary collapse, because it will be like whatever that structure was, it's out of alignment with law, with cosmic law. And so tower will come through and it will correct what needs to be corrected. But when we're going through that period, it can feel very destabilizing to us. And especially as somebody that can many times like externalize things as the King of Pentacles can. This can be somebody that's like, I don't know who I am within this process, because we can very much get identified with like what we're doing and the roles that we're taking on. And when something is kind of breaking down the infrastructure of what that is, we can feel sort of lost within that. Like, who am I without this routine, or who am I without this work that I'm doing? Who am I like outside of this system that I've built in some way or grown accustomed to, this thing that I've taken on? So this can be like a little bit of an identity crisis that's taking place here, or it can just be like, this really disrupts my routine in a big way, or this is just a moment where maybe the whole thing isn't collapsing, but it's like some area that I feel really impacted by right now. And I think that this has to do more so within like external life, but then it can have a more internal echo that is impacted by this. Meaning, this can be more in like our more externalized everyday, where we're like maybe interacting with other people, or we're at work, or whatever it may be, but it's going to like come back home. It's like following us back home in some way, because things are all sort of connected, right? We have these different parts, but they're all sort of like intertwined with one another. This does feel like something culminated, and it feels like being sort of left in the dust that is now settling and standing there, and then feeling like, okay, well, this situation took place and I'm left in what's settling here, and now I feel like I need to move. So I'm seeing there be this desire to move in some way, even to get away from this thing that had happened. But rather than making another external move, this feels like going into a place of internalization of some sort, where there can be a period of reflection that's taking place, of wanting to understand what had happened, of wanting to review. And for the King of Pentacles, they can be seeking out somebody that they can maybe be talking to about this. Like, this thing is going on with me, it feels really big, I feel kind of like I'm falling apart a little bit here. And communicating with somebody that can be like a guiding force and an understanding, maybe empathetic force in one's life. It doesn't have to be another person, but it can show up as another person. It can also just be another part of you that you're kind of having this discussion with and processing with to figure things out here. But it does feel like if you're sort of moving around on the field, like within play of life, and you feel like this thing happened and you don't want to make another move that would maybe inadvertently lead you into the same exact situation or something similar, you can be like, I need to time out here. And I need to think about this, and I need to understand like why this happened. Because when we go through a period like this, it's like we don't really build this up within our lives on purpose. This seems like something that happened where maybe the awareness wasn't there and it led to this situation. And because of that, there can be a motivation now. This has impacted me enough that I feel motivated to understand why that happened. It feels like in the hopes of not having to go through that again. So it can be a period where it's like I seriously feel motivated now to be thinking about this, to understand it, to review it, and to process it, because I'd really prefer not to have to go through this again. And this is an understanding too, that if there is an understanding of this, that if we understand what led to what, karmically speaking, the cause and effect here, that we will seek the wisdom that this is actually meaning to implore. So we get to this point now where it feels like something can maybe at this point be understood. Maybe for some of you, you can even feel ready to talk about it, or you can have somebody coming through wanting to talk to you about this thing that's going on here. And it feels like there's something that this has to do with a relationship. So whether like you're going to somebody and being like, this made me think about things, or this person is coming through, they want to talk about things, I'm seeing something about a relationship that has to do with this. And in a way, it almost feels like something may happen within a sector of somebody's life that then for that may have like maybe nothing even to do with the relationship for some of you, and it may for some reason like bring you back into it. It may be brought back into the relationship for some reason. You know, it can be like somebody that you know, it's like they go to work and something happens there and it makes them think about a bunch of stuff, and then they come to you and they're like, I want to talk about our relationship because of XYZ, but it's like something that may have happened outside of the relationship or externally. That's what it looks like to me. But then for some reason it like connects you. So there's some type of link that I'm seeing be made here because of this thing that's going on. And I wonder too if somebody feels like whoever this King of Pentacles is, they can feel like they are in some type of whirlwind experience. And this can bring about an unexpected like conversation or discussion that I think if things had been continuing to go along in the way that they were, I don't think that this would have come up. But it feels like something happened that forced this King of Pentacles into a space of really needing to like maybe even reevaluate things within their life. And then this is what sparks the motivation to have some sort of illuminating conversation as well, where I think it's like also helping this King of Pentacles to process what it is that they're going through. Now, let's talk about the archetype of the King of Pentacles so we can paint a picture of who this person might be. King of Pentacles is somebody that can be very much identified with the roles that they play within life. Work can be important, or the roles that they play within their relationships can be really important to them. They can be somebody that's very focused on building things within 3D and wanting to achieve and wanting to succeed and wanting to enjoy life, to work for the things that they want to work for and then be able to enjoy those things. This is somebody that can have a deep drive for a sense of purpose. And so they can get really, really connected with the things that they're doing within 3D because it gives them a sense of purpose, and they can like to be seen as capable, as reliable, and as somebody that is self-sufficient and can get the job done. So this will be the archetype of this person. Like, they may really thrive when they feel like they can sort of like show up and other people can lean on them or rely on them, be like, I need you in some way. Whether it's spoken out loud or not, this is somebody that can actually really like to be needed. Or they can just find themselves maybe even unconsciously in situations where that is the position that they play, even if there's not a full understanding of like actually wanting that. It can be actually a core part of this person's values. Whatever this situation was, it feels very much like it stimulates. King of Pentacles can be somebody that they're not expressing themselves too much, can be more conservative when it comes to their self-expression, more reserved. Even a King of Pentacles can be earth signs in general, archetypally speaking. This can actually be pushing this person into a space where they can be more expressive, wanting to have conversations and discuss things that they were kind of like, I get this person like keeping their head down before and maybe not expressing certain things. Now it feels like they're entering into a space where it has brought them into more of an air energy is actually what I'm seeing. So it looks like they're embracing more of their air energy at this point, which can mean they're thinking about things more, they're wanting to understand things. It's not just this automatic kind of like doing of stuff. It can be like, what do you think about that? This thing is going on. Can we process it through having a conversation about this? I want to talk about this. I want to express this thing. This is what's on my mind. So there's something that's shifting. And we also have Virgo, and we also have Cancer here. And I think with both of these energies showing up here, this can be somebody that like they don't open up immediately. That doesn't mean that they're not totally in touch with things that are going on, but it can be, these energies are more reserved archetypally, and it like take a little bit to warm up, when it comes to kind of their more things that are more close to their heart or feel more close to their soul. This can be somebody that isn't immediately kind of like forthcoming and sharing. There can be something that's going on now where something has happened big that has influenced things to go in this direction, where there can be actually a cracking open. And this can even feel like a breakthrough within a conversation that's happening too, that really wasn't happening. I just get this King of Pentacles like really opening up here. I also feel the need to clarify, as I do in most of the readings, because we're saying King of Pentacles, this has absolutely nothing to do with gender. The masculine and the feminine is something that is hopefully balanced within all of us, so we are both the masculine and the feminine energy. They're just two sides of one coin. And so if we are one of those energies and not the other, it means that we are not in touch with all of our nature and our energy, and that we are not embracing ourselves wholly. So just to put that out there, okay, have to say. So yeah, that's where I'm kind of seeing us be. And it feels like all of this is leading somebody to take more initiative and maybe be more direct and more decisive within actually a relationship now. And so this can be somebody where they're making choices now, and they can be putting more effort, attention, and focus into a relationship because of this thing that's going on. And this can be somebody kind of wearing their heart on their sleeve in a way where it's like finally they're rolling their sleeve up and showing it being there, whereas before it feels like it had been covered up in some way. I do get the sense of this being a moment that actually feels more like a breakthrough. I'm also seeing Gemini here too. So we have Virgo, we have Cancer, we have Gemini, and we have Mars. So yeah, this is a breakthrough for this King of Pentacles is what I'm seeing. So that can be like, this King of Pentacles is like, wow, this put things into perspective for me. Oh, interesting. I'm seeing something, but I don't want to give too specific of an example. I want to like generalize the energy. This feels like the King of Pentacles in this reading was doing something that seems like it was self-sabotaging in some way, or was mixed up in something where there could have been secrecy, there could have been a lack of transparency. It could have just been something that this person, it's like, it's not a true reflection of their values, but it was a reflection of them with their shadow and something that was being acted out. But now I'm seeing it be over. So they were doing something, and this could have been an avoidance that was taking place. It could have been a behavior that they were not stopping, just something that would have been harmful in some way to this King of Pentacles, whatever that was. And it can even just be like not being direct. It can be, it actually can be things like being unreliable, being inconsistent, things that would be the opposite of what they actually want. Because this is, you have to keep in mind the archetypes here. Like, this is somebody where they do want to be relied upon. They do want to be faithful. They do want to be loyal. They do want to be committed. This is somebody where it's ingrained within the nature of that archetype to be those things. But they could have actually been acting in the opposite way of that. They could have been doing things that would actively like spoil them, having those types of dynamics and relationships within their life. But now, like in whatever ways it was that this person was sort of pushing away, because that can be something that you see too. And you can see this within all of the zodiacs. You can see somebody that either like really identifies with like the classic archetype, or they'll be in the polar opposite of it. So it's like this, because that will be the wounded energy. For example, like let's talk about Gemini. Usually when we think about Gemini, we think about somebody that likes a variety of things. They're generally open-minded, good conversationalist, witty, communicative. Or you can see a Gemini placement that will be the opposite. Closed-minded, shut down, pessimistic. It will not good at multitasking, not good at prioritizing. It will be like the shadow of that energy. So so these are things that you can actually end up seeing. I get like whatever this King of Pentacles was doing, you could, if you were to look at them, you could kind of like see the potential of the archetype that they would stand in, but you could have actively, if you're the one on the outside looking in on this person, even if it's you with you, you can be recognizing that you were doing this. The opposite of whatever, however one would prefer to be showing up, it feels like, yeah, doing the opposite of whatever that was in some way, to some degree. But now I'm seeing it be over. It just feels like something happened for this person, that there's like some type of alignment that they've fallen into now. This can even be an awakening of some sort, or just having a really difficult situation happen that kind of like jarred this person and woke them up. And sent them into a period of reflection. I want to know what this was that happened though. Because I'm not seeing what this situation was that kicked this off for them, but it is definitely like a bit of a meltdown here that happened. They could have felt like something that they were trying to do imploded. What this can mean too is that where they had kind of become rigid in their mind, there was some sort of catalyst for that structure to be broken down and opened up. I'm seeing they were also experiencing confusion about something that was going on. This can also be somebody too where it feels even like secretly before, because I get kind of like this wasn't being expressed. This person is somebody that they're going to thrive within stability and consistency, but I'm seeing something about them having been showing up in some energy that felt like the antithesis of that. And so it looks like something happened here where they were like met with some type of force, because I'm seeing these two energies whack into one another, and this can be some sort of collision that happened within themselves, but this can also be an interaction that they had that sort of brought this about for them, maybe exposed things for them, some sort of experience. Because I get this person, something was going on where I'm seeing the energy was extremely scattered, but then it feels like the outcome of this situation is something that becomes very focused then. So I'm not seeing the energy be scattered anymore. I'm seeing actually things be seemingly like really clear. Depending on how kind of stuck this person was. It could have been something more major that happened. But it really, this is a general reading, so it really is like a case-by-case basis. If this was a less severe thing, it would mean that there was like less of a structure that needed to be broken down. Yeah, I'm seeing there be like discussions now that are happening that were not happening before. And this can even be like, I'm totally clear on this now, but I was not clear on it before. And I do get something again about the energy being very scattered, and this can mean somebody being like, I don't know what my like deeper intention is here, and it's just like a bunch of like, I'm seeing like little spurts or like sparks of energy, but nothing that feels like focused and defined. And that was what was happening before. Okay, so the feeling can be too that this person, this King of Pentacles, they were in the process of building something, and it feels like it just like was falling apart. And this can mean even something being shattered. Like maybe they had been building something and like the whole thing came apart, and it's like, well, you're not going to be doing that anymore. And they could have been like, yeah, I get this sense of this person being in a space that whatever this was that happened, it pushed them into like defining. Where maybe something had been very undefined before. And the way that they're showing up is completely different now. Yeah, I'm seeing there be directness. I'm seeing there be decisiveness. It's like all of like the elements that were missing before, I'm seeing it be there now. It's like they're understanding themselves and where they're going and what they want. This must have been something like really major that this person experienced, to have like all of these like changes come from this. I think they were going in this direction anyway, but it just seems kind of like nothing was happening, and then all of a sudden this thing happened, and then like all of this progress was made very quickly. It's like something that isn't taking shape for a long time, and then all of a sudden it like all comes into focus. It feels surprising in that way. I get something about this like metamorphosis that's been taking place, but I get like this has not felt like overnight the way that this has been happening. It could have felt confusing and unclear what was taking place, and then it's like all of a sudden just things come into focus. All right, my friends, we are going to leave the reading here. I would like to thank everyone for connecting. Thank you for tuning in. I'm sending everybody love, and I hope to catch you guys next time.